Hey guys, Useless here, and I recently watched Borat 1 and 2 for the first time, like back to back. So, Borat is a movie that I'd always heard about. I didn't really know what it was. I just heard that it was like a comedy that everybody loved. I've obviously heard the my wife many times. And yeah, I never watched it. I never really understood what it was. I thought it was like just like a proper narrative comedy that was, just a really good one. But yeah, so I Borat 2 came out. I heard that Sacha Baron Cohen made it. I think it was in around like the past year. I guess it would have been like around the past like 6 or 7 months that he made it. Although probably maybe beyond that, because it's the timeline of the second one is weird, and I'll get into it. By the way, spoilers for both movies, just because I feel like there's no real point in talking about them without spoiling them. So I'm just gonna spoil all of the juicy stuff in them. So I'll just say up front that I enjoyed both movies quite a bit, and I suggest you go watch them if you haven't. They're both on Amazon Prime right now, so although the first Borat is leaving Amazon Prime soon, so if you're watching this after November 1st, then you can't watch it on Amazon Prime. You'll probably have to buy it, but they're both good. Watch them. Yeah, like Sacha Baron Cohen, he just made the second one in secret, and it's crazy that like nobody really knew about them, and like some of the stuff that he did in the second Borat movie like was in the news, and for one of them it was even like revealed, I guess. I'm not sure how, but people like knew that it was Sacha Baron Cohen, but they didn't realize that it was another Borat movie. They thought that it was for like one of his other projects, but no, it was for Borat 2. And so I guess let me talk a bit about the first Borat. So yeah, this is me watching it in 2020 for the first time. This movie came out in like 2006, which is crazy to think about. I was 6 years old when that movie came out. And I think it still holds up really well. The format of the movie where so if you don't know, if you ignored my spoiler warning and you're still watching this, the format of these movies are that I guess Sacha Baron Cohen, he has like a loose sort of story outline that he wants to tell with these movies. And so the first Borat movie, the story is that Borat is from Kazakhstan. I forget how you pronounce the country that he's from, but it's actually a real country. He's from Kazakhstan, I think it is. He is sent to America to film a documentary about him sort of learning a bit more about American culture. And he has to sort of take those cultural values and take the lessons that he learns back to his home country. And so that's sort of the outline of the movie. But then Sacha Baron Cohen as Borat actually goes out and has, he's in character, but he has interactions with people who don't know that they're in a movie. And so he's able to sort of create these funny scenes with, real people who are just being themselves. And he's able to string a cohesive narrative utilizing those scenes. And basically the goal with the movie, I think, and sort of at least the lesson that I took out of it was that and this is something that we all know, although some people like to attempt to even still today try to like say that it isn't the case, but it's just like, yeah, no, there are like racism and homophobia and stuff like that still present today. People will have their masks on, but you get them alone. You get in a little private conversation with them. You make them feel comfortable. They will let all that stuff slip. They will allow their mask to slip. And that's still just a thing that happens today. And yeah, like the he let he got this one guy to say that because he like Borat said that in Kazakhstan. I'm so sorry, I forgot how to pronounce the name, but like he like he said that like they would like I think it was that I forget if it was like they would hang gay people or something like that, but he said that they would kill gay people, and like this one random guy was just like, yeah, we're trying to get that in this country too, and it's like, oh, okay, buddy boy. Yeah, and it's stuff like that, and yeah, the first Borat is it's a very entertaining movie. And it's just like really impressive that he's able to just sort of, because and obviously like there are scripted scenes. It's not all like on the field interactions with people. It's just like it's it's their like they're scripted scenes. There's an outline of the story, but these interactions with people are like they are there to obviously make you laugh and to sort of expose Americans and American culture and the deep rooted issues with America. But those scenes are still like utilized and to tell the story, if that makes sense. And I honestly still think it's really well done, and I think the movie definitely holds up today. Yeah, I think still like the craziest thing in that movie is when they kidnap or they try to kidnap Pamela Anderson, because in the movie, Borat, he sees like a clip of Baywatch on TV, and he falls in love with Pamela Anderson's character. So he wants to go to California to find Pamela Anderson, and yeah, and so then like the sort of the climax of the movie is he's he goes to like a meet and greet with Pamela Anderson and tries to kidnap her, because that is the sort of the traditional wedding ceremony of Kazakhstan. And by the way, just so we're clear, the Borat, like Kazakhstan, first of all, the people in Kazakhstan, like they look Asian. They don't look anything like like Borat, and like none of the stuff like that he sort of makes them out to be is real. It's just like an added layer to the commentary on how ignorant Americans are, that like they don't like they'll like Borat can go up to them and say that he's from Kazakhstan, and they won't bat an eyelash. And this isn't me judging people either, because I wouldn't either. Like I watched the movie like thinking that, oh, like, okay, I guess like, yeah, Kazakhstani people, maybe they look like that. I don't know. I don't know where Kazakhstan is. So yeah. But yeah, so and yeah, like the craziest scene is the one where they try to kidnap Pamela Anderson, but I looked into it afterwards, and apparently Pamela Anderson was in on the joke, because that would be a step too far in my opinion, to like actually put Pamela Anderson under that distress and like make her think that she's being kidnapped, especially since it's not even like a thing where they're trying to expose some sort of like negative quality about her. It's literally just like, let's try and kidnap Pamela Anderson. So I'm definitely glad that they reached out to her beforehand, because that would have been they probably would have been arrested if if they actually tried to kidnap her. But yeah, that was the first Borat. Really enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, go out and watch it. Even talking about it, like I obviously didn't talk about like everything in the movie. Even though I said spoiler warning, I didn't really even talk about everything in the movie. There's still a lot of stuff that's really funny, and I suggest you go watch it. But yeah, Borat 2 recently came out, and yeah, so like a bunch of people were like going into this movie like, can they like recapture the magic of the original Borat? And just judging by I don't know, just the stuff that I've seen, like movie reviews and I don't know, just like people talking about it, To the people who love the original Borat and they think it's like one of the greatest comedies of all time, and yeah, like I obviously just can't really appreciate how innovative and impactful that original Borat was. So from what I've seen from people talking about it, they don't personally believe that this movie is as good or as good as the original Borat. I disagree. I think it's just as good, maybe even a little better. But you have to take into account that I watched them back to back. So the first Borat to me is just like, oh yeah, that was a really good fun movie. It's not like it wasn't like this incredibly impactful film life experience that I had. But yeah, Borat 2. So the setup for Borat 2 is that after the first Borat movie, the Borat character, because it's like they sort of take the real world reaction to it and sort of incorporate it into the sequel, because Kazakhstan basically became a laughingstock, right? And yeah, so like Borat was sent to like a life in imprisonment for embarrassing his country. And so in this movie, he's sort of they get him out of prison because they want to send him on a mission, right? To get the respect of Americans back, and they want to bring, I think it's Pence originally, right? I think Pence was the original guy, like Mike Pence, the vice president. They want to send him a monkey as a gift to try and regain the respect of their country. And so that's sort of the setup of the movie, right? And it's funny because they like Sacha Baron Cohen, like he knows that that he can't just do Borat again because the character is too well known. If he goes out as Borat, people are gonna recognize him. So they incorporate that into the plot of the movie. So he has to wear disguises, and he also has a daughter in this movie. And yeah, and his daughter is played by this girl, Maria Bakalova. She's a Bulgarian actress, and she's great in this. Like, it's one of those things where, like Sacha Baron Cohen, he can't just do Borat again, and so like, his daughter Maria Bakalova, she's the girl who plays him. She sort of like helps bring in sort of new life into this sequel, and it adds this new dynamic that sort of allows sort of the absurdity of Borat to still be there, I think. And it's honestly great. Like they're back and forth, and because that's the thing about these movies that you really have to appreciate is that like they go into these sequences into these interactions with real people, and obviously it's not scripted, so it's all essentially improv, and they have to come up with it off the top of their head. And you know, it's impressive enough that Sacha Baron Cohen himself is able to do it that well, and that like almost seemingly effortlessly. Like he becomes the character of Borat, and he's able to play off of these people. But to introduce this daughter character, and then have them play off of each other, and have them play off of the people who they're essentially pranking, it is really funny, and it's really impressive as well. And honestly, I think the most uncomfortable scene, because obviously the Rudy Giuliani scene, it's like the one that's gotten the most headlines, for obvious reasons, because it's Rudy Giuliani, and maybe they caught him doing a wacky thing. But for me, and that one's crazy, we'll get into it later. For me, maybe the most uncomfortable scene, more than that one, might be the one where they're in the anti-abortion clinic, and they're asking this poor guy like to give his the daughter character an abortion. And it's it's so genius because, and this is a really good example of how they sort of interweave these these sort of real life on the field pranks into the narrative, because previous to this they had gone to a cake shop to I think they bought a cake for Michael Pence, I want to say. I think so. And I think they bought a cake for Michael Pence, and and then his daughter wants a cupcake too, and it's like, and that's where I wonder, like, did they specifically go to that cake shop because of the little baby figurines on the cupcakes, or was that just something that they thought up after getting that cupcake? I don't know. But it's like, but yeah, so she wants to buy the cupcake with the little baby figurine on top, and so then when she's eating the cupcake, she swallows the baby, and so then they go into an anti-abortion clinic, and they want to get the and Borat asks the doctor to get the baby out of his stomach, and they don't they don't specify that it's a like a toy baby, and not like a fetus that they want to get yeeted. And it's just this insanely uncomfortable scene. This poor guy is there trying to, like, and he's like, he thinks that they actually want to get the abortion, so he's like he's trying to like red pill them into why you shouldn't get an abortion. And listen, I'm not going to get into the topic here. I don't know enough about like biology and to really give like a strong stance on abortion, at least not in like a YouTube video on my channel. But whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, I think you can appreciate just how uncomfortable and how funny this scene is. But yeah, and then you get into there are 3 scenes that I want to talk about in this movie. So the first of these 3 scenes that I think are notable and that I want to talk about are the scenes where Sacha Baron Cohen, he dresses up in like a Trump outfit, and it's actually a pretty good Trump outfit, I should say. And he wants to give his daughter to Mike Pence, right? Because the baby that I mentioned, or the monkey that I mentioned earlier that they wanted to give to Mike Pence, in the sort of narrative of the movie, his daughter ate the monkey because his daughter like snuck into like the boat that Borat came in. It's a whole thing, but anyways, yeah, the monkey, he's gone. Daughter, now the daughter is the new gift that Borat is gonna give to Mike Pence. So he dresses up this as Trump, and he's carrying his daughter, and I am assuming it's like a rally or some sort. I don't know, but like Mike Pence, or I guess it wouldn't be a rally because it was like indoors. I don't know I don't know exactly what it is. It's a conference of some kind. And so Sacha Baron Cohen, dressed as Trump, he's carrying Maria Bakalova, and he's running in, and he's like, I think first of all, he calls Mike Pence Michael Penis, which is that's good. I like that. And he's like, Michael Penis. You know what? I can't even really do a Borat voice. I can't do voices in general, but he's like, Michael Penis. I have gift for you. He says something like that, and it's just so insane that he actually did that, and like that was like actually a news story, but I guess somehow it wasn't like revealed. I don't think it was even revealed that it was Sacha Baron Cohen. So like people just kind of thought, oh, some crazy guy dressed as Trump trolled a Mike Pence conference or something. But it's like, no, it was Sacha Baron Cohen, and he was doing it for Borat too. And so that's just crazy that he actually did it. Oh, actually, I wasn't going to talk about it before, but the second scene I kind of want to talk about is the scene with where Borat, so Borat and his daughter, they sort of have a falling out because his daughter sort of, he, in learning about American culture, she learns that women do not have to be subservient to men. Crazy stuff, you know. So his and she finds out that her culture has been lying to him, and then in turn how her dad has been lying to him. So she sort of like she runs off, and so Borat, he sort of left with like no money and no nothing. And he and so this is the crazy thing. So Sacha Baron Cohen as Borat, he like he comes across this guy, and he sort of just asks them. And so yeah, and by the way, this is like right after the coronavirus. So he walks up to this guy and he asks if he can stay with him in his house. And it's like, what? And I read it, and apparently like that is real. Like he actually did stay at this person's house, and this person lives with this other guy. So Sacha Baron Cohen was just staying with these two guys. And this is where like, and yeah, so like apparently this is real, and like they actually thought that Borat was just a real character. And I've seen some people like being sort of skeptical about it, and it's like, okay, how are you doing this? Like, how are there like multiple camera angles in this in their house? Like, how exactly did you set this up? And I'm assuming that this situation is like kind of similar to the original Borat film, because if you in the original Borat film, like like the people that were being filmed, they knew that they were being filmed, but they would tell those people that that they were shooting a documentary, but they thought that Borat was a real person. So like that's kind of how they got like the release forms beforehand for the movie. So they were very sneaky about it. I'm assuming that it was kind of a similar story with this, right? Where they sort of told them that they were shooting a documentary, right? So I'm guessing that's what it was. And that's how they got the release form. But yeah, so apparently Sacha Baron Cohen, he was staying with these guys for like 5 days, which is and like he had to be the character of Borat for 5 days straight, which is insane. And these guys are like pretty crazy, like far right wing, like QAnoners. But yeah, I think the scenes with these guys, I think it's the one that really tries to get at the theme of this movie, is, and it's that like news, and like I think it's that this administration and these people's like constant consumption of far right media is like driving them to fascism. Like similar to how Borat and his daughter, like they're not inherently terrible people, but they're just they're just conditioned to be that way from just the propaganda that the government gives them. It's a pretty powerful message, I think, and very, very contemporary. And like, yeah, like Sacha Baron Cohen dropped this thing like at exactly the right time. But yeah, and then this whole thing is like driven farther because, okay, so I don't know exactly how they managed to do this, but the girl who plays the daughter, she managed to like get a job as a right-wing reporter, and she was a reporter, I'm assuming, at least for a while. And so with the two guys that Sacha Baron Cohen was staying with, they found his daughter as a reporter, and they found out that they were going to be at a rally. And so Sacha Baron Cohen got those two guys to take him to the rally to then get to his daughter. It's insane. I don't know exactly how they did it. And that is also another thing that kind of made me question whether or not all of this was staged. But Apparently it wasn't. So I don't know the exact details. But anyways, they get to this rally and Sacha Baron Cohen gets up on the stage. And by the way, this is I think this might be the first time in either of the Borat movies, or I don't, and I haven't seen his other movies where he's like playing characters and sort of doing the same thing. But this is the first time that I saw where I believe that Sacha Baron Cohen like broke his character, because he's about to get up on the stage and the guy asks him if he is like the guy who's supposed to be the singer. And he like, I feel like this is where he breaks character, because he says something like, yeah, man. And like, he says it in like a really convincing American accent. And so like, I honestly think that that's the first time that Sacha Baron Cohen broke the Borat character, but he did it at the exact right time where I feel like he needed to do it. So good on him for doing that. And so he gets on the stage, and here's the genius of this. He sings a song in an American accent, but like it's an American accent that Borat would make, if that makes any sense. So it's like, if you listen to it, you can hear Borat, but you can hear Borat trying to do an American accent. It's really impressive the way that he's able to do it, but he's able to, he sings a song, and I don't know how much was improv and how much he came up with it before, but basically he's able to get this entire rally of, conservatives to say a bunch of really bad racist things. He gets them to gleefully wish for the deaths of, Democrats and journalists, Dr. Fauci, of course, because why not him? Yeah, and he go look it up. Obviously go watch the movie, but if you wanted to look up this specific scene, because you can see the entire thing, or at least a longer clip of it than I think they show you in the movie, where he's just like, he's getting them to say all of these horrible things, and it's just another example of like, these people, like, they have their masks on for most of the time that they're in the public eye, but you get them alone, or you get them to be comfortable, and they will tell you what they really think. So that was just another really, honestly, just disturbing scene. With it, like, yes, it's obviously very funny and ha ha ha, the conservatives are there, they got pranked, but it's like, no, it's still pretty disturbing that these people are real and that they're out there. But anyways, okay, so now we'll talk about the Rudy Giuliani scene. Like, this is where it's like, oh my gosh, this is insane. How did they pull this off? Because so they already got the girl to be a reporter, right? And this reporter got an interview with Rudy Giuliani. How? Because like, she must, so the actress that played the daughter, she had to have presumably gotten a job at like a well-known conservative outlet, or it was a conservative outlet because she was at the rally. But yeah, so she had to have gotten a job at that outlet, and then that outlet must have like come to respect her to the degree to where they gave her an interview with Rudy Giuliani. The fact that they managed to pull that off is like insane to me. But anyways, she gets this interview with Rudy Giuliani, and here's the thing. I don't know. Like, is this interview and the events that transpired after the interview, is it like that bad of a look for Rudy Giuliani? I mean, to me, not really, because it's like, okay, they're both adults, because Because by the way, I should note that the character that the girl is playing is 15, but the actress is actually like 24. By the way, cuties, if you want to do something like this is how you do it. You don't actually get a 15-year-old. You get an older actress to portray a 15-year-old. Just so you know, director of cuties, whatever your name is. But anyways, I'm not going to go down that road. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll just describe the scene. So she's having this interview with Rudy Giuliani, and she's being very flirty. And Rudy Giuliani not exactly pushing back on the flirtiness. And then after the interview, so they go back to, I think it's Rudy Giuliani's hotel room, or I don't know if it's her hotel room. So the story is that, at least the one that Rudy Giuliani is pushing, is that, oh, well, they just went to the same hotel room because she was gonna help him take off his microphone. But I don't think that's ever really a thing that happens. I'm pretty sure that you take the microphone off there at the place where you're being interviewed, and then you never see each other again. But apparently they went to one of their hotel rooms and to get help taking off the microphone. And then Rudy Giuliani, he's sitting on the bed. And by the way, I'm just going to describe this. I don't want to show any of it because I don't know what possible repercussions could come from this, so I'm not showing any of it. Rudy Giuliani, you can look up the video on your own if you want. Rudy Giuliani, he's sitting on his bed and he leans back, right? And he's going to, this is from him, he's going to tuck in his shirt, and this is the story that he's telling. While he's tucking in his shirt, Sacha Baron Cohen comes in as Borat to stop this whole situation from happening, because from the perspective of the narrative of the film, like his daughter, the character of his daughter, is giving herself to Rudy Giuliani as like recompense for not being able to give her to Mike Pence. That was recompense Pence. That was totally not planned. It's not even a clever thing at all. Like, I don't even know why I'm bringing attention to it. But anyways, Borat is running in to stop the situation. And so like, just even if, like, here's the thing, even if nothing untoward was happening there, it still works for the narrative of the film, which is what makes it so insane that they were actually able to prank an official in government in the presidential administration. I think he's in the presidential administration. I think he's like someone in Trump's cabinet. I don't know. Like, the fact that they were actually able to prank him is so insane to me. That's crazy. But anyways, like, it works. Like, no matter what the reality of it is, it works for the narrative of the movie. So yeah, so Borat comes in, he stops it, and he goes away. And okay, so yeah, whatever. What do I think? Like, do I think that Rudy Giuliani actually thought that he was gonna, like, get this girl to provide him sexual favors? Yeah, definitely. Because, okay, here's the thing. When you go back and you watch the video, it does look like he's tucking in his shirt like a normal person, but then he reaches his hand into his pants, right? And he leaves it there for a while. Like he's not, long enough that, no, you're not tucking your pants in. You're not tucking your pants anymore. Like, now I don't have X-ray vision, and even if I did, that's not how video works. But you don't just, like, leave your hand in your pants without moving it if you're tucking in your shirt. Honestly, I've seen people saying that, like, you don't, like, lean back in your bed to tuck in your shirt. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. There have been times where I've been getting dressed and, like, I'm just, like, on my bed in the process of getting dressed, and I have tucked in my shirt, leaning back on my bed. I've done that, so I guess I can't really judge Mike Pence on that front, but that is a thing that people have said that like, dude, if you're tucking in your shirt, why are you like leaning back in your bed? I don't know. I don't know if necessarily that's an indictment on his part, but for me, it's like, dude, no, you left your hand in your pants for like 5 seconds. Like, no, that's not you tucking in your shirt. You were at the very least, Rudy Giuliani was like, you know, getting hard from the from Maria Bakalova. And honestly, like, here's the thing, like I said before, is this like an indictment on Rudy Giuliani? From my perspective, no, not really. Like, he's like, they would have both been consensual adults in that situation. Even in like the narrative of the movie, I'm pretty sure that Rudy Giuliani believed that she was over the age of 18. Like, I don't think that from like his perspective she was like a 15-year-old reporter. If that's the case, then yeah, that's definitely sus, but I don't think that was the case. Honestly, for me, it's just like for me, the funny part about this, and where I would like, I just see hypocrisy in like a lot of like supposed like Christian conservative types out there who, you know, when they're talking about like you or me, right, they will you know, really push how you need to have like strong, like, you know, like Christian ideals, and that, you know, you can never have sex unless you're married and stuff like that. But the second like one of their like conservative politicians ever breaks any of their like conservative Christian ideals, they will simp insanely hard for him and basically like not condemn them in any way. So honestly, that sort of hypocrisy from a lot of like conservative ideologues, I just find that funny more than like I condemn Rudy Giuliani for this himself. But anyways, yeah, I feel like I spent a lot of time talking about the second Borat movie, but that's just because there's a lot of just insane stuff that happens in the movie in the sequel, that I just can't believe they actually managed to pull off. Like, that is just so insane to me. And yeah, and that's the thing with these movies as well. Like, you just have to appreciate that these sort of pranks, essentially, because I mean, that is what they are pranks. Like, they are done in such a way that the footage that they get from those pranks, they're able to actually like edit them to be like compatible with the story that they're telling, and actually compatible with like the pacing of the story. It's really impressive. I will say, like, you also have to like give credit to Sacha Baron Cohen and Maria Bakalova for like their acting within the pranks is like really impressive, because like there's that scene where Maria Bakalova is with the babysitter that that he leaves her with, and they're like in the car, and she's like sort of trying to like break down how like abusive her culture is to the character, and how, like, you know, like women don't need to be subservient to men, and like, you know, women can drive cars and all that stuff. And it's like and and like the Maria Bakalova's acting in there is like really impressive, because it's like within this prank her character is like having this realization, and you can see it on her face, and just the fact that she's able to just pull that off so convincingly, that, you know, the person who she's with is having like no you know, is totally buying into it, and how like, even like as the viewer, like I'm watching it and I'm, you know, I've become somewhat attached to these characters, and like I'm even invested in what's going on here, you know, from both perspectives of just being entertained by this prank, and also from the perspective of like being attached to the characters that they're portraying. It's just very impressive the way that they're able to do this. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I really have to say on Borat 1 and 2. Yeah, I recently watched them, like as of recording this. I watched them both yesterday, and in like the span of 24 hours, I've become a fan of Sacha Baron Cohen. Like I honestly just didn't know that this is what these movies were. I didn't know that um that's what Sacha Baron Cohen was like known for. I just didn't know that. I thought they were just like comedic movies and I like narrative or I guess like traditional like comedies. I had no idea that that's what these movies were. So it was honestly a really nice surprise to watch them and find out like, oh, that's what this is. And I've just over the course of 24 hours become a fan of the guy and really appreciate that, you know, these aren't just like, haha, you got pranked, bro. Pranked. I like that he makes these movies with a message, and you know they're not just for nothing. Like you are expected to take something from them. It's insane that like I saw this one tweet from this one guy, like I think it was Matt Walsh. He was like, I appreciated Borat, the first Borat, because Borat was the butt of the joke, but now Sacha Baron Cohen, he's just making fun of other people, and that's mean, and I don't like it. And it's like, did you watch the original Borat? Like, no, Borat was not meant to be the butt of the joke. The butt of the joke are the people who he's like exposing. And it's like the most disturbing thing is that there are people who watched that first Borat and thought that like all of like the people who are like in on the who are, you know, they're not in on the prank but who are being pranked, like there are people that watched it thinking that, oh no, they're not the problem, Borat is the problem, because Borat is like the foreigner and the foreigner's being wacky, that's the joke. And like there are people that like actually thought that, which is insane. But thankfully Sacha Baron Cohen has now come out with this second movie to like, and it's basically cleared the air and is is making it clear that like, no, idiots, like you are the joke. So, you know, I guess that's also like a good effect by this Borat sequel, is that now there's like no real confusion about who the butt of the joke is here. But anyways, yeah, sorry, I was doing my outro and then I had like another thought of what I wanted to say, but this is the actual outro. Yeah, that's all I have to say on Borat. I found both movies to be incredibly entertaining. If you haven't seen them, go out and watch them. They're a ton of fun. And yeah, there's still racist people out there. It's crazy. I know. Wow. Bye.